everyone, Anita here and welcome to another video. I've been thinking for a while how to start this video. So, for now, let's watch little bees buzzing in my lavender while I tell you a little story. And don't worry, it's gonna, be a very short story, okay? If you've been following me for a while, you will know that, aside of my love for traditional watercolor art, I also do digital art. Not for fun mostly, but I would say that approximately 90% of my paid work is digital. And for ages, I've been working on this tiny little Wacom bamboo fan that I've had for 10 years. It's a model that they don't even make anymore, okay? It served me well, but I've been thinking about getting a new one because A, my wrist was killing me from using the small tablet, and B, the little nib on my pen was completely shaved to being flat. And if I wasn't even sure if I could get a replacement, like a replacement nib or a replacement pen. And the prices that I saw on any replacement pens were ridiculous. So I figured, I might just as well upgrade to a completely new tablet because, that one was pretty outdated. This is where the problems are starting. I want to get a pen display, a drawing monitor, whatever you call it, one of those fancy schmancy things. The smallest Wacom drawing monitor, the Cintiq, costs 700 euro. And it's too small for what I wanted to do. Because it's like 13-inch, it's tiny. There are alternatives, and, I've had a little nice conversation about it on Facebook a couple of months ago. But from brands that I've never heard, and honestly, a drawing monitor is going to cost me a lot of money. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. And I don't want to spend a lot of money on equipment that might potentially be disappointing. So, especially when you are a working artist that still has to think very, very hard before every purchase. So imagine my surprise when I've been contacted by a company called Gaomon, asking if I would like to review one of their tablets. Yes, please. Well, not a drawing monitor. This review kind of gave me a possibility to see for myself whether or not their graphic tablets were good. Like a trust building thing, because they have a drawing monitor too. Yeah, and I was considering getting it at one point. So, although I probably won't be able to afford it for a while, but okay, to the point. For now, let's open this box because I kind of peeked in, of course, to see if everything was inside, but I didn't really take a good look at what's inside the box. So this tablet is, let's just take a look. It comes in this really nice box, and I'm really impressed because I don't remember this little bamboo one coming in such a fancy box. Now, mind you, it was a smaller tablet, so it comes in a box, and this box actually has a padding, which is for me, it's like, what? It has a padding. It has an actual foam. Do you hear that? How cool is that? And then inside you have the tablet. It tells you, it comes with a little card when it tells you that you should download the drivers manually. And then we have the tablet. And please just take a look how much bigger this one is compared to my old one. Now my old one is approximately, the working area is around A6, and this one it's kind of in between an A5 and an A4. So it's a 25 by 6, almost 16 centimeters working area, which is 10 by 6.25 inches for those of you who are not using centimeters. So that's almost twice as big, over twice as big as what I've been using so far. And one thing I really like about it is that it comes with this little tab here, which you can just pick it up so easily. I think this is for a pen, like the pen is supposed to go here. Yeah, maybe. But I love it because it was so easy to pick it up. So there's the tablet. It's quite sturdy. I like that. Okay, so there is a compartment here. Okay, and these are the cables. So it comes with a cable to attach it to your computer. And then this cable, I presume, yeah, it's for the pen, because this pen is chargeable. So you can charge it. Yeah, so basically what you're gonna do, and I'm just kind of imagining myself at this point as well. Yeah, and you're going to charge it by the USB. Okay, so you only get one pen, which makes sense. The pen is very light. I'm comparing it with the Wacom Bamboo Fun pen that I have. They're almost the same size. Oh, what is that? Oh, look at that. It actually has a cap. Wow, it has a point. The pen, the tip has a point. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my old one doesn't have a point anymore. It's completely flat. Okay, so we have a pen. They're about the same weight. I would even say this one is slightly bit heavier, which is interesting. I'm also very happy that it has those two buttons here, because I am so used to using this button here. It's the button that kind of allows me to move stuff around. Okay, and we have some goodies here. Quick start guide. Okay, so it comes with the set of instructions, which of course makes sense. What are you? Oh wow, look at how many. It comes with 2, 4, 6, 10 replacing nibs. So you get 11 nibs in this set. And oh, there's something else in here. Oh, okay, and this is, oh, it's still, oh my god, that's so many nibs. It comes with 4 additional nibs, and it has this little ring that you can use to remove the nib. I've never had one of these. So what you basically do is it has a little circle here, and you pop it here, and you can pull out your nib, and you can't see anything, can you? And then we can put it back in. Okay, I like this little pocket. Actually having a little pocket to hold all those things in, it's kind of handy for those little things. And then the last thing it comes with, okay, I know what that is as well. This is like a little glove. Wait, how does that work? How is that working? I think I will need a guide for wearing the glove. Is this, no, yeah? No, because it has to be on this side. Wait a second. I have this. I have this, guys. This one? I think so, because what this glove is supposed to do, I don't know how to wear it. I've never had one, but so what it basically is supposed to do is that when you are using, let's move this box aside. When you are using a tablet, you can really easily glide over the surface. So if you took this off, there is resistance, of course. So this is really handy. Sometimes you just want to do that swipe. You just want to swipe, and you can't because your hand is catching. And of course, the bigger the tablet, the surface becomes a little bit more harder to work on. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that. Where is the, okay, so there is, okay, so here we have the connection to the tablet, to the USB. This is, I swear, this is like a dummy, how dummies do. I am not a very technologically advanced person. Oh, there we go. There it is. Oh. Okay. Nice. I'm already leaving greasy marks. Okay, that's hand cream, guys. It's just hand cream, I swear. Okay, and the one thing I was really interested in are those buttons on the side, because this tablet has a set of 12 buttons that you can, according to what I know at least, you can attach different functions to them. So I wonder if I can work with these. So I'm going to see if I can connect it to my computer, and I'll be back in a second. In the background, you're seeing me playing with the tablet for the first time. Do some testy stroke, etc. Strokes, Anita, etc. And later I will make a quick doodle where I will tell you really what my first impression was while we're drawing. But for now, I'm just going to take you through what it is that I'm actually reviewing, because I haven't mentioned it used until now. The tablet you're seeing is the Gaomon M106K graphic tablet. I mean, you knew the company already, but the model is called M106K, which is a mouthful. Get a nice real name like, I don't know, Henry, or if you insist on using the M, then maybe Matthew. I don't know why, but this tablet seems like a guy. If you guys are wondering why, I have a tendency to name my stuff. Does anybody remember, George, the heat gun? Okay. There are links in the description where you can read about the tablet, check the stats, and purchase it if you want. I'm not much of a stats person myself, so they don't really interest me. But what interested me was that Gaomon sells through Amazon, which is awesome, and the price is really, really affordable. I took a quick look, and with the glove and extra 10 nibs that we've seen before, it costs €81. Without the nibs and glove, it's €69. It's almost the same in dollars, and there are a lot of countries they sell to. Now, I haven't found any information about the 4 nibs and, the little ring thing. I assume they come with the standard kits. I can't find any information anywhere, but I've seen that you can buy the pen and the nibs separately, in case anything happens, which is great. The pen doesn't have an eraser at the end. Sometimes, pens have that option built in them. When you turn the pen upside down and try to use the eraser, like in a regular pencil, then the drawing program will recognize it and switch to the eraser option. This pen doesn't have that option, which is not a problem for me, because I've never used it anyway, but it's one of those things that you should be aware of if it's, part of your workflow. I had no problem connecting the tablet to my computer. I read the instructions after I've connected it, and the instructions tell you to uninstall any other graphic tablets, like tablet drivers that you might have, but I didn't do it, and it works perfectly fine so far. So I assume if you have any problems, then you should probably do it first, like delete everything else. The pen took about an hour to charge fully, but I was using it while it was charging, which I did not expect and was great. My USB ports are on top of my PC, so I had no problem connecting it, even though the cable is pretty short, and I could multitask, yay! Yay for multitasking. As mentioned before, there are 12 buttons on the side, and 16 more touch buttons that I haven't noticed before on top of the working surface. I will probably never use the touch buttons, but I got used to the side buttons really quickly. It's just hard to remember where, what's where, so I will probably use some stickers or something to indicate it. I will have a cheat sheet somewhere. And that's pretty much all I can tell you, because honestly, I don't care about much more than the price, size, whether or not it can be delivered quickly, and, that it's better than what I've had before. The bottom line is, I'm not a digital painter. I draw digitally because it's convenient when you're working with clients, in certain cases. Don't get me wrong, I use the graphic tablet a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be thinking about getting a bigger one if I just use it occasionally. It makes so many things easier. Any graphic stuff I do, I use my tablet for it. Editing photos, making graphics for my website, social media, creating video covers. It just makes everything so much easier than using a mouse. Perhaps I would be looking at it differently if I was painting only digitally. But for my needs, this tablet is perfect. And honestly, I'm actually happy that I can try it before I commit to a drawing monitor. Which, let's face it, I don't really need, I just think it's convenient. The size difference between my old tablet and the new one made a huge difference for me. And it still feels weird drawing on it. Much easier on the wrist though, which makes me incredibly happy, because the thing about having a small tablet is that you are using your wrist much more than you should probably be using it. So yeah, not good for your wrist. For the doodling part, I've decided to use one of my sketches that I have taken a photograph of in a very, very dark room. It's just so that I have a guide about, approximately of what I want to draw. So this particular picture is just a little sketch of my iPhone. I will be soon changing my phone to a completely different brand, model, and everything after years and years of using iPhones, and kind of stresses me out because I do like my iPhone, not particularly because it's an iPhone, it's just that I got used to it. So yeah, but so that's what I've decided to draw, just a little doodle, and it actually taken me a while to get used to it. I'm really drawing slower than usual. The whole doodle took me about half an hour. But the first thing I've decided to do, and that's something that I've been doing also in my regular painting, so I'm repeating kind of always when I'm changing my style I'm just trying something new in my traditional stuff, I try to emulate that in digital drawings. So in this case, I've recently been starting my sketches, my pictures with like this very, very loose line art. It's not even, it can't be called a line art because I really dislike doing this whole, oh, every line has to be perfect kind of a thing. I actually really like it much more if it's doodly, if it's just a sketchy line art. And so this is what I'm doing here. Now I'm doing this part really, really slow, like I've mentioned, and that's because one thing that I've noticed is that how much smoother this tablet is compared to my old one. There is no comparison. I'm guessing it's those pressure points. It's ridiculous how much different it feels just painting. It feels so much smoother. It's like gliding on butter. Excuse me, that was a mighty, mighty, mighty cough. So I'm still getting a little bit over my cold, so yeah. So I'm just going over the outlines now with just this brownish color, emulating the sepia tone that I like so much lately. And as I go, I'm also adjusting my work space, kind of, because there are a lot of things that I've been doing with my old tablet that either I don't have here, or there's just a lot of different things. Like the buttons on the side is a big change to my workflow. I used to use my keyboard, and sometimes you can see me reaching for the keyboard and then going back because I'm trying to get out of the habit of using the keyboard and instead use the buttons on the side. I had to reassign some of the buttons. For example, I used to use the keyboard to turn my canvas around, and I've changed that to add to the buttons. It's really nice because some of the buttons on my keyboard were further away from my hand. I always use the standard ones. I never really changed them, so yeah. So for example, the size change, the brush size change was usually further away, so now I have it closer. I can make my canvas bigger, faster, so that's really nice. I really appreciate that. One thing is I couldn't figure out how to use the pressure buttons. Like on the pen, you have two buttons. I showed you that while we were unboxing. And as I've mentioned in my previous, with my previous tablet, the pen had the lower button. If I pressed it, it automatically used that little hand tool that allowed me to drag my canvas around. And it was a really easy way to just move stuff around. I really liked that. Now here, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to do it. It just, when I pressed the button, it indeed showed me the little hand tool. But then once I put the pressure point down, it just immediately turned into a brush or whatever tool I was using before. So that might not be the problem with the tablet or the pen, it's just me. I just can't figure it out. So I just put a little, one of the buttons is now a spacebar, which also turns it around. So it was actually really nice because it makes things easier. Once I got used to it, it made things a lot of easier. But I will have to get a cheat sheet or some kind of labeling tool because I just don't remember it. There's so many buttons. Of course, this is after half an hour doodle, so yeah, okay, it's just gonna get better. Now, let me tell you, drawing, I mean, it's definitely not only this tablet, it's just what I happen to have. But I have to say that updating your tablet is definitely a good idea. The difference in pressure, the difference in the smoothness of drawing is just so much nicer. it's so much easier I don't have to push so hard, so the pressure on my wrist is something that I've mentioned before as well. The pressure on my wrist released a little bit. I've had a lot of problems with, the pain in my wrist while I was working on the last big project, and luckily that just kind of stopped after a while. I'm doing also wrist exercises, stuff like that, just to strengthen it. But it really scared me because, once you damage your wrist, you can't really do anything anymore. Your time is really limited. So one of the tips I got back then is to get a bigger tablet, and that kind of releases the pressure of constantly moving your wrist in the same way. And that's true. I definitely noticed that there is a difference in the way I'm using just my hand. It kind of made all my muscles hurt, and that's just because, they're not used to that weird movement, and I have no upper body strength at all. I kind of stretch my wrist, and that's about it. I think I should definitely work on that. But so all my muscles were hurting in that arm, but not the wrist. There's a specific kind of pain, and I was so extremely happy and so positive about that. So another thing that it's really, for me, it's mostly I've been enjoying this painting process. That's it. Now, one thing I've noticed that I can't use this, at least for now, I can't use this tablet as a mouse. I used to just use my little tablet, the little Wacom tablet, for everything. I wouldn't switch between the mouse and the tablet. Here I've noticed that it's just too big. It requires my arm to move so far to get to, from the top to bottom. It's just different, It's not a big deal, it's just different. And it's just, I have to switch to the mouse. It's just easier. Now, of course, as you can see, I finished a little sketchy line art, and now I'm adding a little bit of color. And that's a tip maybe for you, because one thing I've always had a problem with that, with digital art, is that there are too many colors. There are just way too many colors. And when you're used to traditional art, when you have a limited palette, so even if you're, when I say limited palette, of course you can mix, but you always start with a specific set of colors, and then if you decide to mix another color out of the bunch, you can make it match other colors really well. And here you have to use little tricks and shortcuts for that. So one I've learned a very long time ago is that I use either palettes, like ready-made palettes that I find on Pinterest, or if I find a photo that I really like, what I will do, I will just make a little, you can find it in filters like pixelation or something like that. And then it chooses the colors from the picture and makes tiles out of them. So in this case, I used little, very small tiles because it's just a doodle. But normally I would have done them really bigger, and that gives you a limited color palette. And as you can see here, all the colors nicely fit together. So, yeah, that's the kind of tip of the day, I guess. But besides that, there's no really much to this picture. I haven't done any very big shading, or I haven't even added texture. I was painting with the standard brush. Normally I have a set of watercolor brushes that I use for that. But in this case, I just wanted to see how that tablet worked for me, or if it's just how it performed, etc. And I really liked it. So that's all I can say. And that's it, pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave it a thumbs up. It really, really helps me, especially in these days when YouTube is a little bit crazy. And also, if you are interested in this tablet, as I've mentioned before, there are links in the description where you can find all the information and links to the stores, and you can purchase it and stuff like that. It also, by clicking on it, it shows them that you are interested. So that's kind of, that helps me in the long run. Although I'm not getting any commission, this is not a sponsored video by any means. This is just, yeah. So thank you so very much for watching, guys. I also remind you that I've opened my Patreon again recently, so if you're interested in some extra content, you can find it over there. Yeah, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next video. Bye!